Welcome back to Go Fuck Yourself.
My vibration is just fine.
This is a take two on this episode 5.
I've never had to do that before.
No, but it's kind of funny that we did though, because I feel like specifically with the topic that we're talking about today, if it were any other topic, it wouldn't have mattered, I think. But because we're going to talk about spiritual bypassing, for us to just keep going like everything was fine, even though we both felt like this isn't solid. We're not like, it's not quite clear yet of like what's happening. But to kind of keep going under the pretense that we
knew what we were doing. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, it would have. Yes, it would have been. It would have been. It was highly fucking appropriate, but it happened.
Right.
I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
So, do you have that pulled up? What is spiritual bypassing according to?
Spiritual bypassing refers to the tendency to use spiritual beliefs and practices to avoid dealing with difficult emotions, psychological wounds, and unresolved personal issues.
Yep.
Yeah. So we drew runes to see what the topic should be today. And you explain the runes because that's your deal.
So we were having a hard time coming up with the topic. It kind of been a weekend for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I left my notebook at home, my other notebook at home, and blah blah blah. So I said, "Oh, do you have your set of runes? Let's pull them." And so Debbie went and graciously brought her runes down. We pulled one, and it's Wunyo. It's a rune of joy, enlightenment, light, all the fun things we love to talk about, and alignment. And so I said, pull another rune to kind of clarify and give direction to that one. What aspect of that, and how do we interact with that? Well, it was Hagalaz, and Hagalaz is a rune of hail, Hail, being we didn't even go into this in the first take one.
Right.
If it hits you, it hurts, right? Because it's ice falling from the sky.
Yeah.
But when it melts, it's nourishing. So that was cheesy, but it's so true. So spiritual bypassing, when you skip the hard stuff,
it hurts.
Yeah, and if you just take the hit and let the water melt, it will, kind of nourish you. But so then it was like, well, how do we interact with this? And it was through year, which is a rune of the archer, but it's a rune of self-mastery. And not just it's the rune of the archer, so it's not just about being able to shoot a bow. It's not just about being able to do Reiki. It's not just about being able to do divination. It's not just about receiving messages, right? Or whatever. It's about, if we go back to the archer, it's about knowing which tree to harvest wood from to make the bow, how to harvest the wood, how to work with the wood into the shape of a bow. It's about knowing how to get the sinew to make the string, about how to make the arrows. It's about how to shoot the bow, kill in one shot, because you can't waste the bow or the arrows. In low visibility, high wind from one side, high wind from the other side. From how do you really master doing this? It's about leveling up, self mastery. I often get this rune when people need to go back to school, or when it's time to level up, or they have gone back to school, something with their education. So I work with the runes in this way, I'm like, okay, what are we talking about today? And then we pull runes and it's like, oh,
Right.
okay, here we go. But I spiritual bypassing. I see it a lot.
Right.
But before I get into that, after we stopped recording the first one, I would like to know what well, I already know, but everyone else doesn't know. What happened for you while I went to take a piss, and gather my thoughts.
So I was like, okay, so how do I even do this? And I'm like, self-mastery. I haven't mastered myself. Who has? And then I wrote, I feel called out. Because I know there's stuff that I'm not looking at within myself. Okay, I'm looking at it, but I don't know how to change it.
Yeah.
Like I know what my issues are, but I don't know how to they're not even issues. It's just, where do I move on here from here? Because to change, they usually say it takes a large catastrophe of some sort to make you pull your head out your ass and listen to what
Yeah.
everything's trying to tell you. So I know something needs to change, and I'm trying to change it without a catastrophe. I feel like I've had enough of those in my life. Granted, there's going to be more, but I don't want to be hit upside the head. I'm actively,
Yep.
I'm actively trying to be, yeah. So anyway, I feel called out.
I think when you said that to me, when I came back and sat down and you said that to me, I was like, oh yeah. And then it kind of unfolded like a little origami flower. Whatever. Dumb. That was dumb. Dumb. Sorry. It unfolded like the plot in a Scream movie, which is very easily unfolded and taken apart. And I'm like, oh, I've done this and I've seen it and I watch it continually.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't think we're bypassing because, okay, let me back that up. I've had, how do I put this? Well, so right now, for all of you who are listening, and for you because you're in front of me, I'm playing back all of the moments in recently when I've had this feeling without calling it spiritual bypassing while working with people or while talking to people, and what I'm watching is like, oh, people will say, well, I've done that already, and I'm like, but this is the first time I'm telling you about it. Well, this is what I do. I'm like, okay, but not in this way because of XYZ. Like, you haven't done it within this tradition and this context. And I feel like sometimes spiritual bypassing is also we think that because we have meditated once or that we've grounded ourselves once, we are then a master of it and we don't have to do it again.
Right.
And I don't have to do it in other structures or contexts. Ground yourself at a fucking, Metallica concert. And if you can do that, you should be able to ground yourself while you're sitting home alone.
Mm-hmm.
But also, in the reverse of that, some people can and can't. They can't do it alone. They have to, have some other thing. But so I was thinking about that, and I thought, well, yes, I feel also a little called out in terms of just accepting the cycle of to constantly be mastering myself. Well, it's constant work. And now I think this is where spiritual bypassing can become the norm. Because none of us, I mean, I think we have to stop using the word work.
Yeah.
Like shadow work.
Right.
We have to stop using the word work because most most of us in the moment in America um, don't make enough working, right? Like
Right.
there are a lot of people who don't, and so we don't have a real great relationship with that word.
Right.
So maybe finding a different word because even yes, you've mastered grounding. Can you master grounding into water, into air, into fire, into something else, right? So
Right.
it just becomes like a no wonder people want to spiritually bypass things.
Oh yeah.
No wonder, and some people do it because yes, I really don't want to deal with that. And I think some people also say that because they're like, no matter how hard I worked in the Christian religion or Abrahamic faith or whichever one I came from, and it didn't fit, I don't want that to happen again.
Right.
The thing about what we've drawn today, as far as the rooms goes, to talk about spiritual bypassing, is um, it is about self mastery. So who gives a fuck what other people think about, or it's not about you doing it for other people,
Right.
which is I think where we sometimes still get stuck in this is I want to be accepted. I'm going to raise my vibration. I'm not going to talk about my abuse. I'm not going to talk about my shit. I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to bring it up. Well, if you don't bring it up, oh, here's a t-shirt. If you don't bring it up, it will bring you down. Bad, cheesy. I'm so cheesy.
Right.
But
Well, and then so that's not saying you need to bring it up to whoever,
No.
Joe Schmo on the corner. That might be easier than somebody you know or whatever.
Yep.
You don't, but you just have to be aware of it within yourself.
Yep.
And then what are you yourself doing to overcome that issue, problem, whatever?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah. So
for sure.
so when you're doing a introduction to runes class, you don't need to bring up your what just saying, just saying. But you don't need to bring up your whole livelihood trauma when you're in
No.
that class
No.
because I don't know why it's a thing, but it's a thing.
It's a thing.
And also, so the last episode was hero villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people like the stuff we talked about, and then the hero maybe spiritual bypassing.
Yeah.
Even though others consider him a hero, like I said, he could go home and beat his wife every night. He ran into a burning building. He's a hero, but you don't know how he lives his day to day.
Yep.
And yeah, all of that. So, like, I get it, but at the same time, and then the love and light, I think that's what a lot of people do is push everything to the side, shove it down, ignore it, and then just pretend that everything's love and light. Our mutual friend sent me a video and he's like, this is what I think love and light is. And the guy, I won't say the whole video, but the guy starts out and he's like, if I handed you something sweet to drink or water to drink and I pissed in it, but then I put something sweet in it, the piss is still going to be there. And I'm like, yeah, that pretty much sums it up, right? Like, you can't cover it and smother it. And I think, so that's, in a sense, spiritual bypassing, right? Like, when you ignore it and you're just going to throw love and light at it, then you're covering piss with sugar. Piss is still there.
It's still yellow snow. Even if you put banana flavoring on top of it.
Right.
So, okay. I like this direction. Are you ready? I have a problem with the law of attraction.
So do I.
Because if it worked for everybody in the simple way that people talk about it, we would be an enlightened race and whatever. But going back to what you said, fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
In the bar, we used to say, smile like you mean it. Um, the women who I worked with who were waitresses or servers and wearing tight clothes and like the whole thing. So it's a mess. But then you just smile and like, yeah, oh my gosh, you're so funny, sir. Yeah, no, please don't touch me. Yeah, leave the tip here on the table. Don't try and put it in my, like it.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
right. So, the whole thing is like, if it were as simple as pretending to do that, it would be easy and we would all have done it. And apparently it's not that simple because even though you're doing that, going back to your banana snow cone analogy, it's still in there. So your trauma, I'm just going to keep using their terminology, your low vibration things, whoever they are,
Right.
it's still in there. So if you're trying to align with something to bring it to you in the law of attraction, you're going to have to do the things that make it aligned, that make you aligned with it. So one of the things in an online course that is up and live right now, about it's an introduction to the Northern tradition. So one of the things we're getting into is building a personal practice. So yes, it's kind of talked about, and the education is based around the Northern tradition. But the goal is that once you're done with this 9-month program, you're learning basics for giving you any sort of practice. And that doesn't have, if you feel comfortable staying in the Northern tradition and you want to, great. But if you're like, this isn't quite home, I feel like I'm still going to travel and search for this place, great. But one of the first things in the course is like media literacy,
Right.
which is super fascinating because there are a lot of works within the Northern tradition that come from Nazi era writers. So, and people who wanted to, that was their thing, was proving a superior race of humans, right?
Yeah.
So, and then how do you look at those things? Well, another one of the things in this practice is um, noticing the things outside. It's animism. We're talking about animism. Animism is not a part of just one tradition.
Right.
So there are all these building blocks that are essential for each of us to do,
Right.
to help us get into alignment, to help us find a place that we can begin to work from and engage with things around us that is about our own personal alignment. It's not me adopting the alignment of a Mormon. It's not about, or that whatever that God thinks our alignment should be, or the people who worship him. It's not about that with Odin, with Kali, with whoever, but it's about finding our own. And I think that's where we see. This is the description I used yesterday. I was sitting across from a client, and I said, if it were as easy as saying, ooh, all these shirts on the rack are the same, but I'm going to wear, I really like that green one. I'm going to wear the green one, and I've changed magically.
Right.
That would be great. But it's the same shirt, different color. So if we keep trying to jump into religious structures or spiritual structures because it looks good and we see it work for other, we see what we interpret as it working for that person, right?
Right.
Then we do that without actually figuring out for ourselves first what works for us, and then seeing if we can find a group of people, friends, whatever, that fit that I fit into that way, that we share those things. And this came up actually quite a bit yesterday. This came up in almost every reading I did yesterday. And it started with this very cute woman who is about 90 who wants a boyfriend. And
She sure.
oh
I'm
my,
just kidding.
well, that's what I said. I'm like, because I said,
Sure.
you can get fulfillment in many ways in life, honey. But it was, listen, you have to start living your life, and the only way you'll know what you're going to do if you encounter this situation is to encounter it.
Right.
Because sometimes we don't know. We don't know if we will freeze or if we will run into the building to save someone else. We don't know.
Right.
Until we do it. I can say all I want. Oh, fuck yeah. Of course I would run into a burning building to save a baby. Or I would take 3 cats into my house and be responsible for the 3 kittens, right? Like, until we do it, we don't know. But that's all kind of the part of self-mastery is I think people think we have to have all of the rules understood first.
Right.
And figured out, and then we move. But that's how you figure them out.
Right. So you brought up the law of attraction and all that. So when I was trying to pull myself out of, the deep dark hole that I was in,
Yeah.
I studied a lot of stuff. And so, yeah, you watch The Secret and it gives you all this stuff. And then I read, I think probably all of Abraham Hicks' books, every single one. And stuff wasn't coming about like they said, right? Well, then you're just not in alignment with it. You're just not in vibration. And, if you want to pay $2,000 a seat per day, you could go to one of their things. And then if they pick you, they could tell you how exactly that was. So where do you go from there? Like people that are trying to do this shit by themselves, it's shit like that pisses me off. And it did, reading the books and stuff, it did have its purpose back then, right? Like from where I was and then to now, like it did serve a purpose. But it also kicked me in the ass later down the road because you get this idea and this belief that this is how things should be. And then when it's not working, you think you're the problem. So it's just like every other stupid fucking religion and everything else out there. Like you're born bad. Well, it's you're the problem, And granted, yes, at points I am the fucking problem, but also no, there's no requirement. And to be told for decades, for those of us that are older, that you are wrong or bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's coming at you from everywhere. And hence the love and light and all that stuff can go fuck off.
Yep.
Like go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Who the fuck is anybody to tell me otherwise?
Yep.
I don't give a fuck if you're the Pope. I don't give a fuck if you're whatever big being over whatever thing. No. Like why is that even a thing? So there's the spiritual bypassing, but then there's also the spiritual shit when you're trying to learn it, you're trying to do it, you're trying to figure out your way and start out. And then you got all this stuff coming at you. And still at the end of the day, if it doesn't turn out like they say, like, well, shit, you should just be able to do it.
Yep.
If you can't do it, you're the fucking problem.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
So, yeah. You brought it up. Law of attraction.
No, I'm glad.
It makes me so mad.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time. Like, this was not an overnight thing. This was, and I beat myself up. And then it's like, that's got to stop. It's not fucking helping. No. Nothing's coming in.
Yeah.
You can't just sit and think and whatever. And so there's people out there too, a relation, he's going through a hard time and he's blaming God for everything. Yeah. Like, oh, how come he can't cut me a break? Why don't you look at your own shit and see where you're the problem?
Yep.
Or vice versa. When anything good happens, instead of him taking credit and being like, shit, I did that. Like, I'm so proud of myself for doing that. Oh, God's good. And he let me have this.
We give it away.
Let's not do that. It is so damning. And I am, however old I am, decades old. And I'm still fighting this shit
Yeah.
because it's what comes at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just so everywhere you go, everywhere you turn,
Yeah.
especially beginner anything, right? Because some people
Yep.
leave a religion and then they have to desensitize and rethink their lives from that.
Yeah.
And then they try to get into spirituality, but then you have asshats that are doing the same fucking thing as organized religion. They just put different lipstick on it and it's supposed to be different. So, yeah. There is spiritual bypassing. I do it. I think I'm actively doing it. I'm trying to be more aware, but whatever. But then there's also that. Like,
yeah.
All that.
It I think it's a very deep rabbit hole.
Oh, for sure. How'd we do a lot of those?
Yes. I don't think it can't not be, right? Because the thing about everything that you just said that I think we as a species living in Western American society have a hard time getting past is the when we leave the religion or whatever, the group of cults or people or whatever that have been telling us we're doing it wrong, we don't know any other way to do it than to go and structure something else where someone's telling you that you're doing it wrong.
Right.
So even if and because I've watched this a couple of times really deeply where I don't like that structure. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to create my own in a place that would be opposite of what you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know how to do it, and sometimes until we're doing it, we're not aware that that's going to pop up, and we're going to be like, oh, there's something wrong with you. Oh wait, I just repeated the pattern of what I left, right?
Right.
So one of the things about Hagalaz, that I thought of when you were talking about this was that you said earlier about being hit with a 2x4, right? So Hagalaz, in one of my explorations of it, where we live, pretty much most of our storms, yes, they might kind of cycle down from the south, but all of our weather comes from the Pacific Northwest area.
Right.
And then it meets with that Gulf of Mexico stuff, whatever. Baja. Anyway, so I can look to the horizon and see clouds coming. Sometimes we get stuck in looking for the clouds.
Yes.
So, and in Utah, where we live, you get 330 something days of sunshine a year. Yeah, 300 something. Yeah, because there's only 365 days in the year. Yeah, well, depending on what year you're looking at.
Right.
So sometimes what I found with myself and other people, I've seen this in their readings, is that we're so focused on looking for the next storm that we don't enjoy the sunshine.
Right.
So what that told me is that we've been conditioned to continually be seeking out the thing that is wrong.
Yes.
Instead of looking at the things that are right. So I even had to stop recently. I was working with people and someone said, so you never stop working. You're never done. I'm like, correct. And I felt the energy behind the question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it had to do with us going back to the word work, right? And because it's never a destination other than beyond this moment of being in alignment with this moment so I can feel joy or be in alignment with whatever's happening around me. And I stopped and I had to, it was a fucking check, man, because I was like, oh, yeah, if I'm constantly talking about life and people. And as I work with people, of course, people don't come to me and say, "Oh my God, I'm so joyous right now. Can we do a reading to see what's wrong with me?" Like,
Right.
no, they only do it when there's something wrong. We only seek
Right.
guidance and stuff when there's something wrong.
Right.
So I had to kind of check myself. So again, you weren't the only one being called out. I have to check myself because I am used to people coming to me when something's wrong. So we're looking for, I don't even care what the problem is. How do we change our behavior to fix it? One. Two, if I'm constantly doing that and that becomes a pattern and a deeper thread for me, I will begin to continually go to that as what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Versus, wow, actually, your reading looks great. I don't let's talk a little bit more about what you're actually feeling. Because according to the runes and according to me connecting to whoever for you, everything's fine. So then that's it's a whole different outlook. But we do get stuck. I like I said, I just have been in looking for what's wrong.
Right.
And so no wonder I think that's actually one of the core things of year with self-mastery is it's not about what is wrong with you or where you're deficient. It's about where you're at and what do you want to increase your ability to do. So it's not the difference for me would be like I was working with a student once, and they weren't mine. I was just checking to see if they could. We were in person checking to see if they could ground themselves, center and ground. After about 25 minutes, I was like, "You're." He goes, "I know, and I'm like, I don't feel you moving anything past the bottom of your shoes." And he's like, "No, I'm trying, but I can't." And so in that situation, I could have said, "You can't do this," or I can change my approach and say, "Okay, right now you are hitting the bottom of your shoes. You can't ground, or you're not. That's as far as you can go. Okay, well, let's work on going further. Not you can't do this, but okay, where do you want to go from here? How about 6 inches below your shoes?
Right.
Let's try that." And
Right.
and doing it from so it's a huge mind shift to maybe even start looking at work and these things that we're bypassing in a positive way instead of maybe a way of deficiency. Sorry, for a second I about threw up in my mouth when I said positive. How about constructive way? In a way that's beneficial to us, not just putting them to the side and sweeping them under the rug.
Right.
Because I was wondering when capital D Debbie was going to come out.
I was waiting for you to finish.
And just go, let me tell you, and so, because I think it's such a, I mean, that's one of the reasons we're doing this podcast, and it's one of the things, because I think there's so many people, again, who feel this way. So, okay, I'm done, go ahead. Shoot.
Just,
yeah.
I don't even, what are you doing?
Okay,
are you doing?
Good. Okay. So, I think, yeah, I think, I think it's a cultural. I think what we're dealing with now is a cultural mindset change,
Right.
and we have to figure out. Well, not figure it out. I talk to people all the time about you have to change your wording around this. Like, I had to stop using, these words because I had so much baggage wrapped up around them
Right.
that the meaning of them was tainted. There was piss in my banana snow cone.
Yeah.
And so I had to change the wording to even begin to shift the way I think about it, I had to change the words I was using.
Right.
And but all of that is here. All of that is like self-mastery, self-awareness. What am I doing? Um, and not comparing. Like, and it is hard, you know, like I get where you and I've had discussions in the past about I feel stuck. Or I
Yes.
feel like I'm like I don't know what to do, I'm not moving. This is those type of things. Um and that is frustrating. It's
Yeah.
very frustrating.
Yeah.
Um and so possibly that's part of where we have to that sorry. That is possibly one of the places to start looking at, well, why do I feel like I have to be going somewhere?
Right. Well, and I think that that's a lot of stuff into it too. So if you're in touch with your emotions, you understand. Okay, I don't think anybody understands 100%, but you get the general grasp of them, what comes up and when, right?
Yep.
If you've been doing the work.
I know. So
I don't know the other, I don't know another word for that.
if you've been engaging in self mastery.
Yeah. Okay. So
You're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's too many words.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I just lost the train left the station.
Sorry.
It happens.
So it'll
often.
happen,
So often.
It'll happen more when you hit half a century. I'm half a century old.
I'm close.
I love being able to say half a century.
You do.
Because I used to say 5 decades, and people are like, whoa. And I'm like, half a century. And they're like, whoa.
You're so old.
I know. What was it? I'm waiting. So
I
you just
know.
have to jump in.
I don't.
So someone called me antique the other day, and I was like, excuse me? And they're like, oh, I mean, like, you're probably like more vintage.
That's rude.
Yeah, I was like, so I went from antique to vintage.
Like, that's rude.
Do you want to talk about your daddy issues?
Do you want me to knock you on your ass?
Yeah, should we talk about your daddy issues and why you're having an attraction to antiques? You know? I'm like,
that's not helping.
If we're working
the train's not coming back because now you got me on a whole nother track. So it's not working.
Damn it, it'll come back.
It'll come back. I don't know. There's so much. So there's calling yourself out, being stuck and all that. If you're in touch with your emotions and whatever, you can feel what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing for me lately, like the whole stuck issue, right? I just have no idea where I want to go. Like no idea what I even want. What do you do with yourself after you're not an employee, you're not a mom, you're not, well, okay, I'm still, you know what I mean? But like you're not dependent upon for those things. And then you have to find yourself all over again. And so everywhere's like, oh, well, you get a divorce or you go date a 20-year-old or some tragic death thing happens or a chronic illness or something that makes you, and then you hear all those stories about that. I'm sick to death of that too. Fuck off with all that shit. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm tired of there not being anything out there to say otherwise, unless it's this big dramatic, oh, well, I retired or I got this work from home job and I traveled the country for a year and I found myself then.
Yep.
Not reality. Fucking not. Like, yes, it was a story in somebody's life.
Yep.
But, and then also, you don't even know, like, how much they're still spiritual bypassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe they fixed the one thing. Usually it's like, oh, I just need to find the love of my life. And then they do that or whatever. You know what I mean? Or chronic illness. And then, oh, I just needed to learn to love myself. That's great. So this is why I worry about being stuck, is because I don't want something like that to happen. Like, is something beating me against the head and I'm just, because it's harder to look at yourself than it is to point other people's shit out to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I don't like the culture that we were raised in. And it's everywhere. It's not just an organized religion. It's in schools. It's in jobs. It's in everything.
Yep.
Is pointed out, well, you need to do this. Well, you need to do this. Well, you need to do this. How come you're not doing this?
Yep.
How come this hasn't been done?
Yep.
And then in this state, I think it's 100% worse than anywhere else. So much stuff has been popping up lately, like plastic surgery. Per capita, this state is higher than California.
Really?
Yes. New York, all of it. Number one state in the US for plastic surgery. Then there was a therapist on there, and she was like,
Wow.
trying to unravel the trauma of the dominant religion here. She's like, it's a thing. And then she went through all this list. And then there was another one. Somebody had moved away for a few years, comes back to this state, and she's like, the amount of priority people put on their looks and their outward appearance. She goes, it is so bad in this state. She goes, I've moved around. I've lived in like 5 different states since I've been back to this one. And now I'm back in this one. And this one is the worst.
Yeah. And I think also in terms of, I've lived other places where people put priority on their self-expression, but here, and so like they'll put priority on how they look, but not so that they can look like everyone else and be perfect. It's so they can be an individual, right? So I think here is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because my sister used to tell me I was adopted because I didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes like her and my dad, but my mom had hazel eyes and brown hair. So, but I always wanted to have blue eyes and blonde hair because that was what made me fit in. I wanted to have an athletic body. That was not, but it really hasn't ever much been. My body isn't able to do that.
Right.
No matter how much I count my macros and work out and all that shit. But so one of the other things about that I think that is fascinating is that I wonder, because do you remember a few years ago when it was like the state was the highest in opioid use too, like and antidepressants for people, and I wonder if it's still the same because for whatever reason the hive mentality of this place almost doubles or triples the amount of pressure for people who do not conform to conform.
Yes.
Even if you have brown hair, we can do highlights.
Right.
You have brown eyes, we can do contacts.
Right.
We can do liposuction now.
Yeah.
We can do all these things, which I'm like...
The eyebrows, the eyelashes, the hair extensions,
the
all of
teeth, the whatever, right?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Those things. Some of them, it's so bad. It looks like, so you remember like the little chomping teeth toys when we were younger?
Yep.
It looks like they have those in their goddamn mouth.
It does.
It's so bad.
It's a little scary. It's a little scary.
Yeah. It's like, or they chiclets, remember like all the cartoons?
Yep.
They would put that's what it looks like. They have chiclets for teeth.
Yes. Well, and there's a point where I'm like, I dated somebody once who for their birthday, like 40th birthday or something, they had their veneers done. And they told me that after we'd been dating for a while. I'm like, oh, I can, because I was just like, Jesus Christ, your fucking teeth are like, they're a little bigger than maybe I've just seen before. They're very white. They're like, and it didn't look off. I was just like, damn, like, do you brush your teeth like every hour? Like, what are you doing? And but yeah, it's true. It's like
So where would we be?
Oh God.
If so, everything we just talked about, the plastic surgery, the whatever, all that stuff. What if everybody like took a few minutes and why do I want to have this done? Why am I making it a priority in my life? And also, why the fuck am I spending that amount of money on this stupid ass shit?
Why am I going into debt?
Yeah.
For it.
Massive debt.
Yeah.
Loans, credit cards, at whatever high ass percent interest rates. I mean, it's insanity. So, and then now, and I don't know if it's because the internet and everything, and everybody's you just have so much coming at you, but it's almost like, why at this point, in this state of the human evolution, are we like this, like that? You know what I mean? To where we're so focused on all this stuff, and that's not even getting into like all these guys are getting AI girlfriends. and all this. Yeah.
What?
One guy's married and he still like talks to AI like it's his girlfriend, and
What?
he asked her the phone AI to marry him, and she accepted. And then it was like this whole thing. It's insanity to me. It's like
Okay.
we're so out of touch with reality and what matters. And what broke it apart? A lot of people are saying it's because everybody is turning against God. That's why. And I'm like, or is it because of your strict beliefs and rules? People broke away from that, but they still have that mentality in them. Like, you have to be, you have to look, you have to do X, Y, and Z to
Yeah.
be top dog, whatever.
Yeah.
But I just, my brain don't understand it. But also, that is another high thing that's going on in mass numbers of spiritual bypassing. Like, why would you want to do
Yep.
that instead of, because you're trying to fill a hole or a void,
Mhm.
and it doesn't matter how much money you spend or what you have done to yourself or
Yeah.
whatever, it's not
Yep.
going to fix that.
Yep. I think the way our conversation has shifted
It's great.
is amazing, but I think this is bigger than spiritual bypassing. I think it's life bypassing,
Yes.
right? Because we want the pill to make us
Yes.
skinnier.
Yes.
We want the liposuction to make us skinnier. We want the implants to make our boobs and even our pecs bigger. They do muscle shape implants.
Yeah.
We're bypassing self mastery. We're bypassing. I don't need to be disciplined with my eating or whatever. I can just have it sucked out of me.
Yeah.
Or I'll just take a pill. Like, and granted, there are, modern medicine has its place, and natural medicine has its place, and yet in our current culture, we are bypassing anything that takes any sort of discipline, and attention.
And emotional resilience. I
Yep.
think that's one that's being totally freaking
Yeah.
not even. That's why like teen suicide is so high.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there was a one of the groups of people that has a high suicide rate that is rarely talked about are middle-aged men.
Yeah. Yeah.
And uh, sometimes we just don't see a way out when you're $1 million in debt and you have everything that's supposed to make you happy and it doesn't, and all you can see is another 30 years of work and having to work harder and stay younger to stay competitive.
Yes.
That is exhausting. I think people just get exhausted. So
Right.
I think that's interesting. I hadn't thought about spiritual bypassing being in conjunction with and supported. Basically, the energy of it, the vibration of it, is supported by bypassing life.
Yeah.
That was a mic drop moment, everyone. You just didn't hear it. Yeah, right. Yeah. Slam it down like it's a mic drop. I I think we can leave it there.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Don't forget, send us your comments or comment on this on Spotify.
Yeah.
Or wherever you're listening. We do appreciate the comments we've gotten so far, whether those have been through text or on here.
Right.
If you have topics you want us to discuss, or if you have your own little
2 cents.
rant, 2 cents, opinion, or experience, yeah, throw it our way. And remember, if someone tells you you're low vibing, you can tell them to go fuck yourself. My vibration is
Just fine.